How's it going? I'm Mickey, and I will be commentating on a run of Amok Runner, any percent restricted by BobT0ad. I'm joined by Trey Bordeaux. Now, you may recognize this game from the Moist Critical 10K Speedrun Challenge in January, where BobT0ad himself placed third. Now, BobT0ad, if you're ready, at any point you can get started on your run.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, go.
Now, we're off to a slow start. There's a lot of cutscenes and just a bit of walking and talking to this guy on the ship here. Not really much to talk about. Now, you may recognize this game from the Moist Critical Challenge. He's done a few of these in the past. This is a little bit different. This is any percent restricted, so there's no launches, but we'll get back to what a launch is later. But for now, we can just watch BobT0ad on the ship.
Yeah, and in the Moist Critical Challenge, he was third place. He won $1,500 for this game, but as he said, it's a different category, so...
Yeah. It's not too different.
Yeah, it's not too different, but there's a few big glitches that he's not doing just because they're too risky.
Yeah, way too much RNG. It's like gambling with the lottery, basically.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Now, if you've watched any Amok Runner before, you might recognize some like silly little lines from the guy here. I think they memed that pretty crazy.
Yeah, the beginning cutscene is very slow, and everything he says makes no sense.
Yeah.
So the first glitch we're doing here is going to be Linda skip. After he gets all the notes here, I think he goes downstairs and he kind of like talks to her.
Yeah.
And then we can skip a part of the dialogue. He
Yeah.
saves, I think, like 8 seconds.
Yeah, something like that. So the way it works is you first talk to Linda, and then it prompts her to follow you upwards into this room. You situate yourself between this like chair and this coffee table, and you put the guy's head near that doorknob, and you'll see Linda as she's walking through. Once her foot is in a very specific situation, you can just start holding W and you'll just glitch right through the door, and it will skip a lot of dialogue with her. Said it saves 8 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about 8.
So once her foot's there.
Yeah, there he got it. So now we're going to come up to the bike section. Normally in the unrestricted category, you would do the bike launch. I'm not exactly sure how much it saves, but in this category, he's just going to be taking the bike straight to the station.
BobT0ad, do you know how much it saves?
The launch, it saves about, I think, 30 something.
Yeah, I think I remember that correctly. Yeah. The way the launches work, by the way, they're all banned in this category, but the way they work is you get yourself lined in positions, and usually like a character, or like an NPC will walk into you, and you'll open the map. And what the map does, it slows the game down quite a bit, but it makes the physics interactions don't slow down at all. So it just launches you like crazy. It's very, very unpredictable, though. I think the bicycle launch is the only one people were really wanting to do for a while. There are a couple more later we'll talk about that are a lot more RNG.
Yeah, that was a big reason that BobT0ad was able to get the world record he got.
Yeah.
I think he was the first one to get a 26 in the challenge, which is pretty cool.
You might have just noticed he's just biking through a lot of these like obstacles and collisions. The collisions in this game are like really like messy. Like some things you'll just like randomly collide with for no reason, and then some things they'll just like disappear as you go into them or walk into them.
Yeah, and here is like another cutscene. We're kind of just waiting for the train to leave, and then he can talk to this poster up here. You'll see him wait, and then after that we're gonna run to the house, which is some more downtime.
Yeah. The premise of the story, by the way, is that you're a doctor and Linda is a patient coming to seek medical advice, and I think you just say no. And then you get sad about it and you just start chasing her around the town, basically.
Yeah, the story doesn't really make too much sense, but it's based off a really, really old book. It's kind of an interesting game that Charlie chose for this.
Yeah. So there's been 2 Moist Critical 10K speedrun challenges since this, which they're pretty good. We have a skip up here. A lot of people don't know this is a skip. I think it's called Dane skip, or I don't know exactly. But there's an encounter. If you follow the road on the right here, you'll get into an encounter with just an enemy, and you'll have to fight them. If you literally just walk through this cow pasture here, there's like an opening on the left, and you just skip all of that. I have no idea how much it saves because I think people were doing that literally day 1 of the speedrun.
Yeah, this was found so early that I don't think there were really any runs done without it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Do you know BobT0ad?
Maybe like a couple runs, but not that many.
Yeah.
And do you know what it's called?
I think it actually is Dane Skip. Yeah.
Cool.
I asked Zach Runs. He came 2nd in the speedrun challenge. So what he's doing now, he's going to his house. He's skipping the part with the encounter, and then you go into his house and you grab some stuff, and then you can go.
Yeah, here he's going to grab the keys so he can get the car, and the car is just way faster transportation for the rest of the run.
Yeah.
And I think after he gets into the car, he's going to go to the crane, and normally you'd skip that, but in this run we can't.
Yeah, no launches. We will explain that in a little bit. Now, the driving in this game is, as you can see, the fences just explode. That's the collisions I was talking about earlier. It's really, really strange how the physics works in this game. There'll be like instances where there'll be something you can collide with, like you won't normally be able to break through it. But if you break an object, like within 5 seconds before you do that, it will just work anyway. We can talk about that more in a later skip.
Yeah, and in the game as well, when you're driving, it'll randomly lag sometimes, which just loses you time. And that was a big reason people didn't want to run the game because of how inconsistent those time losses could be. But I think they kind of figured them out.
Yeah. So here we're deviating a little bit from the unrestricted category, just any %. Here you would go way further left, and there's a little cone you would launch off to get here. But in restricted, we have to do this. We have to stop the car here, and we have to do this crane puzzle. We quickly stop the car on that log, and then he does this puzzle.
And this puzzle, it was like, I forgot what I was going to say, but the puzzle is it takes forever, but the cone skip that we used to have in the unrestricted category, I think it would save around 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, just on its own, but you have to do another launch with it.
Yeah.
So the cone launch I was referencing before, I think that was like people getting like 10% of the time, but the problem was after you did that launch, there was another launch you would have to do another like 3 minutes later, and that was like 1 in 1,000 or something like that.
Yeah, and the reason you have to do that other launch is because the crane puzzle is unsolved, so you can't go back out the same way.
Yeah, if you use the crane launch.
But he's not doing that because it's just so inconsistent.
Yeah.
But after this puzzle's finished, he's going to go into this. Does he go to the house? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to go to the house and grab the gun, I believe, and then.
Well, so you do a puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. So once we're driving through the crane puzzle area, you will stop up at this house, and there is a short little puzzle for him to do. There are words on the wall, and all he needs to do is look at the first 2 letters, I believe, and you just know immediately which combination it is. So he's going to run over to this garage here and have a look at that.
Yeah, another cool thing that I think we kind of skipped over was how if you trigger a load and then load the checkpoint, you don't have to wait for him to get out of a car or a bike. And it's just a little time save that kind of happens all around the run. And it ends up saving quite a bit, I think. I don't know if BobT0ad knows that exact number.
This bad. I believe everyone that was looking for a skip for that little bat cutscene there, but unfortunately it's just unskippable, as we know.
Yeah, and this cutscene as well, you really just have to wait for these guys to walk around the room and this ladder to come down fully before you can do anything. So he kind of just sits in the corner and waits.
Yeah, this is the first real encounter we have, but you don't really do anything.
Yeah, we found that if you just sit in this corner and look into the wall, they just can't see you. So you kind of just wait for them to walk around, and then you go to the ladder.
I think BobT0ad says he counts the number of rats. Do you want to explain that for us, BobT0ad?
Yeah, so just for fun, sometimes you count the number of rats just to see what kind of rat seed you have, because sometimes there's rats that run behind the sink and sometimes there's not. So I've already counted 3, I think.
Nice. Good seed.
It'd be cool if that could show RNG for like the Morse code in the end of the run.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, eventually, these ladders will come down. If you look at the top left, it says stairs. Don't believe that. We don't trust the list in this game. It's very obviously a ladder.
Yeah, don't know why it says stairs. Interesting choice. And then here we're at another puzzle. I don't even remember how we figured out all the pictures, but we kind of just know where to put them. And then after you unlock this, you go get the gun and something else, I think, right?
Yeah, so previously, you get a key and a gun. And so previously, the puzzle before this, that one changes every run. The one we just watched, the painting one, it's always the same. So these runners just have it memorized.
Yeah, now that he's got the gun, he's going to go outside of the house, and there's going to be some enemies. And I think you have to hit them 4 times each.
Yeah.
And then after you kill them, you're able to leave. And then we'll go back through the crane part and get back in the car.
Yep.
There it was pretty good, but optimally, I think you get all 3 headshots.
Yep.
And so you don't have to reload. But there it was still pretty good. And he got a good load as well.
Now here is about the point where we would be doing a second launch in the any % category. This is the 1 in 1,000 that I was talking about. Just to the left, as he's leaving past this tree, you would line yourself up on these planks and just, pray basically. But because we've done the crane puzzle here, you can just drive straight on through, and our next stop is the mansion.
Now the mansion is pretty notorious because of the mansion skip, but in this run we kind of just drive over there and then fight. Not nearly as cool as the mansion skip, but it's so much more consistent in the unrestricted category.
Yep.
And here's another skip. So as we mentioned earlier about the map slowing down the game, it makes it more consistent to drive through the fences if you hold the map out and slow the game down.
Yep.
On certain computers and FPSs, you used to be able to just run through it and be fine, but that was pretty much RNG dependent and based on your computer, so
it might not seem like it, but there's a lot of very tricky obstacles you have to avoid while driving. I just saw he collided with a lamppost back there. I think if you just change your angle slightly, it will just you'll just fly through it.
And if you've never played the game, driving the car is the weirdest thing in the world. It's unlike any other driving game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very sluggish.
You can't really react to anything, so you kind of have to pre-angle yourself for most things.
Yeah.
I think here's a spot where runners used to get a lot of lag as well, but I think they've mostly minimized it, and it looks like BobT0ad's getting no lag, so it's a good time save.
Now we're almost arriving at the mansion here. You see the big stone fencing on the left. We'll just go through there. Now here we'll have an encounter with, is it 4 people? Yeah.
I think it's 4, yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit tricky. They're all much further away, so we have to watch BobT0ad aim.
Those are both really good. That was nearly perfect. You usually want to do just 1 reload, and he only got 2 there.
Yeah, only missed 1 shot, which is really good.
Super, super good run so far. And here comes the planet puzzle. You kind of just line them up. Super self-explanatory.
Yeah, this one you memorize as well. Like, it doesn't change per run.
Yeah, it's not RNG dependent at all.
So,
And right here,
doing that puzzle, you'll get the key and you can go inside the mansion.
yeah, and in the mansion we're gonna do another puzzle. It's the Morse code puzzle, and I think a key comes out of that as well. Yeah, I think so. BobT0ad, do you know?
Yeah, key does come out of the safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mansion is like the halfway point of the run, so like during unrestricted, people used to, like this is the part where people would be like, this is pace now, this is a crazy run.
Okay, that should be 463 as the code.
Yep, so what he just did is a Morse code puzzle. Don't think we really need to explain Morse code, but BobT0ad, if you'd like, you can.
That's okay, it's pretty complicated.
Oh, okay.
Oh. I might have to listen to it again.
We'll give you some silence.
Oh, did I put in 461?
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, that's my issue. Okay.
Did you say 436?
463. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
I put
there
it
you
in wrong somehow.
Nice.
There you go.
Now with that key, we'll be going to this bedroom, and in this bedroom we'll be picking up some rope. And with that rope, we can escape from this crazy mansion. We tie it to this statue and just go a little crazy.
Yeah, and here he's going to knock down the statue so the door just busts open. Kind of interesting because the statue will sometimes just fall in like random spots. So sometimes you'll kind of be like stuck up there. Thankfully, he didn't get that this time.
I think Zach lost a run to that during the challenge.
Yeah.
This person here is Linda's servant. He's asking us for help to save Linda. Something bad has happened.
And right there, that load just saves a bit of time because you don't have to walk, and it starts the dialogue earlier. It's just a small time save, but the little things add up.
Worth noting.
And here we're going to jump in the servant's car instead of our car, which is why the mansion skip works in the first place.
There's actually a small little skip here that isn't quite well known. So there's a fence here that he has to drive through, and it's not this fence, it's the next fence. It's very easy to collide with, and one of the techniques for that is to first... Okay, it just works. There's like a strat where you can just drive through the fence before that, and you'll always perfectly you'll clip the side of the fence, and like the next fence will always break. I think we have a lot of issues in the past where that fence didn't break, and we figured out that breaking the fence before that helps a lot. I think that was called mist skip. I don't know what mist is.
It's really interesting how the fences work in this game because sometimes they just won't break unless you open the map, or it's like consistent. It's so weird. We'll see that later in the police chase at the end, which is like a big time loss spot, but we'll talk about that later. Also in the unrestricted category, we're skipping over a big skip called Chinatown skip. So like right now we're driving to Chinatown, but you can do kind of like the mansion skip before this, where you launch just straight to Chinatown and it saves, I think, 45 or something. Do you know BobT0ad?
About 50 seconds, yeah.
It's 50, okay.
So that never got done during the challenge because it was found really late. And if you remember, the previous launch was 1 in 1,000. I think the Chinatown launch was about the same. So like imagine getting to that point of the run and it's being basically 1 in a million at that point.
Yeah, absurd luck that you would need to get both those in a row.
Yeah, it would be really cool to see someone finally grind out, a successful run with all the launches in the 90% category.
Yeah, that'd be super interesting. And here we're going to just chase this guy, I think, and then we kind of open up a gate, and then we have another encounter with some evil people.
Yeah, we just follow the servant to Linda. There is like a little puzzle. It's just same, no RNG. You just do the same inputs, so BobT0ad has it memorized.
Yeah, thankfully a lot of the puzzles in the game are like not randomized at all, so we can just memorize the inputs and move on.
You can actually run ahead of the servant here if your lines are perfect. There's a simply clip of him doing that. The puzzle that I was talking about is right here.
Yeah, and this one can be weird because sometimes it just won't register your space inputs, and you can just lose some time over like that easy puzzle. And then here, he's gonna, try to open the door, and now the encounter. This one is, I think, notoriously pretty difficult, but he seems to do pretty good here. Yeah, like there, that should have only taken 3 shots, but I guess it just missed.
Unfortunately missed one.
If you hit the lower torso, I think it's just less damage. So.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then here we go into Linda's room in the hospital, and if you see on the wall, there's a number, and there's 0, there's 4, and this is for a puzzle later for, I think it's like a drug to help Linda.
Yeah, so we see all the 4 numbers. He'll be entering that combination into the safe here. You have to wait a bit because you're meant to be having a talk with Linda, I believe. Now, once you do open this safe,
That was a
you
super
get some
good
morphine. Yeah, that was very good menuing. Now you go to Linda and try to help her. But unfortunately, she has died.
Rest in peace, Linda. It's all the main character's fault, by the way.
Yeah.
And there he does another load skip, just saves a bit of time because no reason to wait.
So now that Linda has died, we will be heading home to mourn. We will actually be getting a ticket to a boat so we can get out of here because this town now upsets our main character. He really liked Linda.
He liked Linda, but not enough to help her.
Just a short walking session here to the house.
Yeah, there's a lot of walking in this game, so a big part of saving time was just optimizing the lines. Towards the end, we kind of figured out what optimal lines were, but there were pretty big discoveries for a while that were happening. And here, after he grabs the boat ticket, for some reason the police come after him, and this is like the hardest part of the run in Restricted, I think, right, BobT0ad?
Mm-hmm. I think it's the same in both, right?
Well, Mansion Skip.
Oh, I
right.
forgot. It's the boat tickets.
Yeah.
So yeah, after he grabs that boat ticket, he's going to walk out here and then get in the car. And then the police start coming after him. And with this, if you even hit a single thing, the police will just shoot you in the head and you have to redo it.
Yeah.
It loses so much time, so hopefully he can get it first try.
There's a lot of spikes along the ground you have to avoid as well. I think you can actually just drive through some of them, right?
Yeah, I think these up here you can drive through. Yeah, he's about to do it. And it just doesn't pop your tires.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
But yeah, hitting any obstacle here, I think it's a 1.5-minute time loss, or near the end at least. As you get closer, it's obviously more. Nice
This is
little
a pretty
turn
hard
there.
part. That was super good. And that doesn't look hard, but in a muck runner, the controls are just so difficult. especially when driving. That could have been bad, but we get it. And here he's doing another fence map glitch, just to get through it.
Yeah, if you don't map there, you will just collide with the fence and your run's dead.
Yeah, so if you were to like map a little too late or something, the run is just over.
Yeah. At
and-
least it's big time loss.
Yeah. And you also can't cut through there because the car will just like jump into the air and you'll die.
That was really clean.
Yeah, that was a super good police chase. That's a really hard part of the run.
Yeah.
And next up here is the cemetery where the police chase after you on feet or on foot. And this part is not nearly as hard, but still you can die.
You just randomly get shot constantly.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Now, upcoming here, we have a little cutscene skip. So if you take the intended path to the right here, oh, it's a little bit further actually. If you take an intended path, like further along, a boss will spawn and he'll start killing the police behind you. But instead, we are just going to walk under a little branch. Oh,
that got patched out.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the
My bad.
challenge, the creator or whatever, he patched it out.
Yeah.
So now we have to watch this
Oh, yeah.
cutscene.
That's all right. It's a good cutscene. He just kills everyone.
I think it's around 8 seconds or so. Can you check that, BobT0ad? Do you know?
That's approximately right.
It saves about 8 seconds, but can't do it anymore. But it was pretty cool for the challenge.
Yep. This is also upcoming, a really hard part of the game. It is the butcher boss. The guy we just saw, we have to fight him.
Yeah, I think. Do you have to hit him 30 times, BobT0ad?
I
Kind of
don't know.
forgot.
So the boss has 1,000 health, and depending on where you shoot the boss, it'll do different damage. So it depends. But
Yeah. How much does a headshot do?
I think enough. If you do all headshots, you can do it in 24 bullets.
24, that sounds right. But yeah, this is a really hard boss because he just throws stuff at you the whole time and then runs after you.
Alright, this should be the last clip I need to use. There we
That's
go.
Nice.
good. Nice job.
That was a pretty good kill. Got it pretty quickly.
Now what we have here is you hold Y to look at this boat at a very specific timing, and it actually skips this headache. Unfortunately, he does fail it there, so we have to wait a little bit for this headache to subside.
Yeah, you do need to walk into a pretty precise location to be able to get the skip off.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was also another skip that would it was completely RNG, but you could get hit by a car and you'd kind of tumble down the hill and it would save quite a bit, but it was never viable for RTA.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty cool trick that they found. And then here we're just going to the boat, and then he's going to throw.
Linda's coffin. I think.
Yeah. Okay. This is the final part of the game. It is still quite a bit left. A couple minutes. But on the boat, we are trying to escape. This is a back to the guy at the start. I think we flashbacked after the intro.
Yeah, the whole game was just a flashback.
Yeah.
And he's just telling the whole story to this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we need to grab a valve so that we can cross the ship to get to the coffin.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's also a skip that saves around
Moist skip.
3 seconds called Moist Skip, which I think was the reason Moist Critical even chose this game, is because he found a skip himself. But it didn't end up working because he thought he could skip straight to the end of the game. But we found it actually saves time at the end of the game, but it's super hard and you can get soft locks, so
Yeah.
I figured it wasn't worth it.
It saves about 4 seconds, I believe, as well.
It's
right?
4 seconds? Okay.
Yep.
Ooh, I might have taken a wrong path.
This is just literal walking. I'm not sure what the premise of this
There we
is.
go.
Yeah, there really isn't a reason for this part of the game.
A lot of dead bodies.
Oh, wait. I seem to have been lost. I normally play on the lowest graphics settings, but for some reason they didn't apply.
I'll find it. It's a maze.
Okay, I guess I started here.
This room actually is really hard to...
Yeah, when you're first starting, like
Yeah.
the first time you've ever played this, this is like pretty scary, but absolutely nothing happens here.
I'm kind of confused.
And it looks the same everywhere, so...
Yeah. Okay, this should, wait a minute. This might take a while.
Just gotta find your place.
There we go. I think this is definitely the correct hallway.
Yeah, that looks right.
There it is. We should see a light soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the
Yeah, there
door
it
we
is.
have to cross and do.
Yeah, and there we go.
Yeah, so now here's like a traumatic flashback the main character has, and he's pretty guilty about Linda's death.
Yeah, and now here we're going to use the valve so we can get across to Linda's coffin.
Yep. Linda's coffin is on the other side of the ship, and it was blocked off by steam. You can see here. I think it's steam.
Yeah, I think so.
And you put a valve on, and it just goes away.
And then here's the final run to the end of the game.
Yep. Once we're here, the game slows down a little bit, forces you to walk, but her coffin is up here, and then once you do push her coffin, that is time. After a few seconds.
And there we
And
go.
that's the game.
Yep, time. Very nice. Very nice run.
It was a good run.
Yeah. Forget what the time loss was, but the current record is a 28:08.
Is that by you, BobT0ad?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it
actually.
is.
Yeah.
Only 4 minutes off. Super, super good.
Yeah, pretty good for no reset. Thanks for the run, BobT0ad.
It was good.
Yeah. Thank you for watching.